Welcome to the HFY Tales channel. Remember to like and subscribe if you like the story. Enjoy and take care.
The intergalactic port was bustling, alive with creatures of every shape and color hurrying to their respective ships, each focused on their duties and destinations. Humans were still a rare sight in this part of the galaxy, but the protagonist, Adam Foster, was no stranger to the odd glances that followed him. Known to a small but growing number of aliens as a resourceful engineer, he had found himself in this alien port's repair facility more times than he cared to remember. Today felt different, though. As he entered the facility, he was immediately met by Grix, a small, insectoid alien technician whose species, the SCiFi, were known for their jittery energy and precision. Grix's mandibles clicked nervously as he darted toward Adam, his large, multifaceted eyes reflecting a hint of fear. "Human," Grix hissed, clutching his tiny manipulators together as if to keep himself from falling apart. "You came just in time. We have a situation, a critical one." Adam raised an eyebrow. "Calm down, Grix. What's going on?" Grix led him deeper into the facility, past stacks of dismantled machinery, flashing lights, and buzzing monitors. As they approached a secluded corner, the hum of conversation dropped, and Adam could feel the eyes of curious technicians and workers following him. Whatever was happening, it had captured everyone's attention. Finally, they arrived at the source of the commotion. In front of him was a massive, ominous machine, a bizarre blend of shifting panels, whirring parts, and metal tendrils extending from its core like a beast ready to pounce. And inside this terrifying contraption was an alien woman. She was trapped, her limbs carefully held in place by the machine's mechanisms, her pale blue skin and silvery hair illuminated by a faint, eerie glow from the machine's interior. Her expression was one of tense frustration, and the closer Adam got, the more he could see a hint of fear in her deep, violet eyes. Grix leaned closer to Adam, whispering frantically, "She's of the Kareen, highly respected. We can't afford any complications." Adam's gaze remained fixed on the alien woman, who looked at him with equal parts suspicion and desperation. The Kareen were known for their strength, wisdom, and reserved demeanor. If this woman was from such a dignified race, she'd be deeply humiliated by her current predicament. He took a deep breath, then approached her slowly. "I'm here to help," he said, keeping his tone as calm and reassuring as he could. Her gaze softened, just a little. "You are human?" she asked, her voice smooth yet laced with surprise. "Yes, and humans are pretty good at getting out of tricky situations. I'll need to understand the machine before I can get you out. Just hang in there, all right?" Her lips tightened, but she nodded, trying to hide her vulnerability. She was silent for a moment before speaking again. "My name is Lariah. If you can get me out of here, I'll be in your debt." Adam stood before the massive contraption, taking in the array of moving parts, shifting panels, and tangled wires. The machine was unlike anything he'd encountered before, a mix of mechanical ingenuity and alien design that seemed almost alive with its intricate complexity. He glanced back at Lariah, who was watching him with a mixture of hope and skepticism. "All right, Lariah," he said, stepping closer to the machine. "I'm going to do my best to get you out of here, but I'll need to understand how this thing works first. Do you know anything about it?" Lariah shook her head, her silvery hair brushing her shoulders as she moved. "No, I was conducting a routine scan when the machine malfunctioned. It had pulled me in." Her voice wavered slightly, a hint of vulnerability she seemed determined to mask. Adam took a deep breath. "Well, let's see what we're dealing with here." He began circling the machine, studying its every component. The alien mechanisms hummed and shifted as if reacting to his presence, adding an extra layer of unpredictability. He found a control panel embedded in the side, its interface blinking with symbols that looked faintly familiar from his work with other alien tech. Grix, who had been nervously watching from a safe distance, scuttled closer. "Be careful, human. The Kareen, they don't forgive easily if we make mistakes." Adam nodded but didn't let the warning get to him. He kept his focus on the control panel, tracing his fingers over the symbols, trying to make sense of the machine's purpose. As he worked, Lariah watched him closely, her violet eyes sharp and assessing, though he could sense a flicker of fear beneath her composed demeanor. Finally, he managed to decipher a few basic functions. Looks like this thing is meant to scan and analyze organic materials. But it's not meant to trap someone, at least. Not like this. Lyraya's gaze hardened. That's a relief, she said dryly, a touch of sarcasm slipping into her voice. Adam chuckled. I take it you're not having the best day. A faint smile tugged at the corner of her lips, though it vanished almost immediately. You could say that. He continued working, carefully adjusting a few settings on the control panel, trying to see if he could manually override the machine's grip on her. But each time he tried, the machine seemed to tighten its hold slightly, as if sensing his attempts to release her. Lyraya, he said, pausing. I might need to reach inside the machine. It's going to be close contact, and I'll need you to stay completely still. She hesitated, her expression uncertain. You think you can reach me without triggering it further? It's a risk, but I don't see another option. Adam's voice was steady, his eyes meeting hers with a reassuring calm. For a moment, Lyraya seemed to consider. Then she nodded, a hint of trust in her gaze. Do what you need to. I'll try not to move. Adam positioned himself at the opening of the machine, assessing the small space and mentally preparing himself for the delicate maneuver. He'd have to be precise. One wrong move, and the machine could tighten its hold even more. As he slipped his hand inside, he felt the warmth of Lyraya's skin as his fingers brushed against her arm. She inhaled sharply, her muscles tensing under his touch, but she remained still, her gaze fixed on his face. Almost there, he murmured, concentrating as he carefully reached for the lever mechanism he had spotted deep inside. The machine's inner parts hummed, its mechanisms vibrating in warning, but he managed to grip the lever and pull gently. There was a small release of pressure, a shift that told him he was on the right track. Lyraya exhaled softly, her tension easing just a little. You're actually doing it. Adam gave her a reassuring smile. Just hang tight. We're getting close. Adam's hand was still deep inside the machine, his fingers wrapped around the lever, feeling the subtle vibrations of its alien components. He focused intently, carefully manipulating the lever, inching it toward what he hoped was the release mechanism. The machine's inner workings seemed to hum and click in response, almost as if it was aware of his intentions. Lyraya remained still, her violet eyes fixed on him. Despite her usual composure, there was an undeniable glimmer of vulnerability in her gaze, a reminder of how much she was placing her trust in him, a stranger, a human. Adam could feel the weight of that trust, and he was determined not to let her down. All right, he said softly. I think I've found the mechanism that's holding you in place. I'm going to release it, but I'll need you to stay absolutely still. Any sudden movement might set off another trigger. Lyraya gave a small nod, her expression resolute. Understood. I won't move. Taking a deep breath, Adam tightened his grip on the lever and pulled gently, feeling the tension in the machine as he slowly disengaged its grip on her. Bit by bit, the metal tendrils around her began to loosen, retracting with soft, mechanical clicks. Each release was accompanied by a small, almost imperceptible exhale from Lyraya, as if a weight was lifting from her shoulders with each movement. Finally, with a last pull, the lever clicked into place, and the remaining restraint slid away, freeing her completely. Lyraya slumped forward slightly, relief flooding her expression as she realized she was no longer bound. Her gaze met Adam's, a mixture of gratitude and awe in her eyes. You actually did it, she whispered, almost as if she couldn't believe it. Adam offered a hand to help her out of the machine, his grip steady and reassuring. She took it, and for a brief moment, there was an undeniable spark between them as their hands touched. She stepped out of the machine, her body closer to his than he'd anticipated. Her breathing was still a little unsteady, and he could feel the subtle warmth radiating from her skin. Thank you, Adam, she said, her voice softer, more vulnerable than before. I didn't know humans were capable of this. Adam smiled. We humans have a knack for problem solving, And besides, leaving someone stuck in a machine like that, not really my style. Laraya's lips curved into a faint smile. She glanced down, almost shyly, before looking back at him with an expression that held both curiosity and appreciation. In my culture, it is customary to offer a reward for such bravery and compassion. Adam shrugged, not sure what to expect. I was just doing my job. No need for a reward. But Laraya shook her head, stepping closer. For me, this goes beyond a simple act of kindness. You saved me, and that's something I won't forget. Her gaze held a touch of intensity, as if she was searching for something in his expression, some unspoken understanding. Her hand lingered on his for a moment, her fingers tracing the edge of his palm. Adam could feel his pulse quicken, but he held himself steady, uncertain yet intrigued by this unexpected turn. You intrigue me, Adam, she admitted, her voice a whisper. Perhaps I could repay you by sharing something of my culture with you. Her words hung in the air, and for a moment, Adam wasn't sure how to respond. But as he looked into her eyes, he saw sincerity, a blend of respect and something deeper, a connection forged through trust and mutual curiosity. All right, he said, his voice low. I'd like that. Laraya's smile widened, her eyes gleaming with something mysterious and inviting. She stepped back, a faint blush coloring her cheeks, though her poise remained intact. Then come. There's a quiet place nearby, where I can properly thank you. Laraya led Adam down a series of winding corridors, away from the busy main section of the repair facility. The faint hum of machinery faded behind them, replaced by the soft thrum of distant engines and the low whispers of alien voices echoing through the hallways. They eventually stopped at a secluded chamber that seemed to serve as a private lounge, its soft lighting casting a warm glow over the room. The space was quiet, intimate, and adorned with strange artifacts and symbols Adam didn't recognize, each a reminder of the complex alien culture that Laraya belonged to. She gestured for him to sit on a low, cushioned seat, then took a seat beside him, her gaze thoughtful and searching. Where I come from, trust and loyalty are held in high regard, Laraya began, her voice barely above a whisper. We do not bond easily with other species, especially humans. But I feel that you deserve something beyond simple words of gratitude. Adam could feel the weight of her words, the sincerity and intensity behind them. He watched as she reached out, her hand gently tracing the edge of his arm, her touch surprisingly warm against his skin. He felt his pulse quicken, but he kept his expression steady, meeting her gaze with calm curiosity. In my culture, she continued, there is a gesture we offer to those who have shown courage in times of need. It is a way of sharing a piece of ourselves. Her hand lingered on his forearm, her fingers tracing gentle patterns that seemed to communicate both respect and a deeper, unspoken connection. Laraya leaned closer, her face mere inches from his, her violet eyes capturing his gaze. Adam, she said softly, her tone sincere, I would like to share this with you, if you are willing. Adam took a steady breath, sensing the significance of the moment. He wasn't entirely sure what to expect, but he found himself nodding, unable to deny the strange yet powerful bond that had formed between them. Yes, he replied, his voice quiet but resolute. I'd be honored. With a soft smile, Laraya closed her eyes and placed her hand over his heart, her touch gentle yet firm. Adam felt a warmth spread from her hand, a sensation that seemed to radiate through him, both calming and invigorating. It was as if she was reaching beyond the physical, connecting with something deeper within him. In that moment, he felt an overwhelming sense of trust, a bond that went beyond words or gestures. It was a connection forged through shared vulnerability, mutual respect, and the realization that they had both taken a risk in trusting each other. Laraya opened her eyes, her expression softer than he had ever seen. This is our way of sharing gratitude, of recognizing those who have shown us kindness, she said, her voice barely a whisper. You have my respect, my admiration, and my trust. Adam could only nod, feeling the weight of her words settle within him. They sat in silence for a moment, the connection between them strong and unspoken, a bond that felt as ancient as it was new. Finally, Lariah withdrew her hand, but her gaze remained steady. "Thank you, Adam," she said softly, "for everything." They remained there, side by side, each lost in their own thoughts, yet bound by a shared understanding. It was a moment that neither of them would soon forget, a moment that marked the beginning of something unexpected, something that went beyond mere gratitude or friendship. The quiet intimacy between them lingered in the air, both of them wrapped in the warmth of that unspoken connection. Lariah seemed to relax, her normally composed demeanor softening, as if she could finally let down the barriers she held so firmly in place. "I don't think you realize the significance of this," she said after a pause, her voice tinged with something between awe and introspection. "In my society, to let someone into our trust in this way, especially a human, is rare." She gave him a small smile, her eyes shimmering with appreciation. "You are different, Adam." He chuckled softly, meeting her gaze with a mix of admiration and amusement. "Different how?" Her gaze grew thoughtful as she chose her words. "Humans have a resilience, an openness that is both perplexing and remarkable. Many alien species view you as unpredictable, even dangerous because of this adaptability." She paused, her fingers tracing a thoughtful pattern on the seat beside her. "But in you, I see a strength that isn't intimidating. It's grounding." Adam felt a warmth in her words that struck a chord in him. For a moment, he wasn't just an engineer in an alien port or a human facing the unknown. With her, he felt seen, recognized for qualities he didn't often consider. "I guess we humans like a challenge," he said, a touch of humor lightening his tone. "And right now, I feel pretty lucky to have had this challenge." Lariah's smile widened, a genuine warmth reaching her eyes. "Perhaps it was fate that brought us together today. I will remember this encounter, and you, for a long time." There was a beat of silence as her words settled between them, the intimacy of the moment deepening. She leaned closer, her face close enough that he could feel the faint warmth of her breath, her expression as soft as the shadows cast by the dim lights. "To my people," she said, her voice a whisper, "words and actions are only part of what we share. A bond like this deserves more." Before he could respond, she reached out, her fingers lightly tracing his cheek, her touch featherlight. The closeness between them, so unexpected yet comforting, filled him with an intense, quiet longing. He raised his hand, mirroring her gesture, fingers brushing her own, and for a heartbeat, they simply looked at each other, their mutual understanding needing no further words. Then, as if realizing the weight of the moment, Lariah withdrew slightly, her gaze thoughtful. "This might be improper in your culture, but for us, it's a tradition of connection, of respect." She leaned in, pressing a soft kiss to his forehead, a gesture that felt both ceremonial and deeply personal. Adam closed his eyes, absorbing the gesture, sensing the meaning behind it. When he opened his eyes, her face remained close, her expression softer, more vulnerable. "There's much I still don't understand about humans," she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. "But in you, I see possibilities. I see trust, and perhaps something more." For a moment, Adam was speechless, lost in the depth of her gaze. Then he gave a soft nod, his voice quiet. "The feeling's mutual, Lariah. I didn't expect any of this, but I'm glad it happened." They sat in silence once more, their connection profound and unspoken, a shared understanding that transcended words. The quiet that surrounded them felt timeless, as if they had both stumbled upon something rare and precious. Finally, Lariah sighed, a soft sound of contentment. "Thank you, Adam. This gratitude, this connection. I won't forget it." The intimate quiet lingered between Adam and Lariah, their connection deepening with each passing moment. Lariah's gaze softened, and she reached out to gently place a hand on his shoulder, her touch both reassuring and intense. Adam felt his heart beat faster as he took in the warmth of her skin, the strength and beauty of the alien woman who had come to mean so much to him in such a short time. "Adam," she began, her voice barely above a whisper, "in my culture, The bond we've formed today is something sacred. It's not taken lightly. And once made, it's for life. Adam searched her eyes, seeing the sincerity and longing within them. What are you saying, Lariah? I want you to understand that what I feel, it goes beyond gratitude, she said, her voice shaking slightly. It's a desire for connection, something deeper. And it's not something the Kareen ever share lightly. Adam's heart pounded as he realized the depth of her words. Lariah, are you saying you want us to be together? She nodded, her gaze unwavering. Yes, I want you to be with me, Adam. Not just for now, but for as long as we live. To my people, this is a vow that goes beyond mere words. It is a melding of lives, of purposes. Adam felt an overwhelming sense of purpose and joy, something he hadn't known he was searching for until now. Lariah, I'd be honored to share my life with you. There's something in you that makes me feel whole, like I've found what I've been searching for. Lariah's expression softened, her eyes gleaming with emotion as she reached up, cupping his face in her hands. Then, if you accept, I will share with you the deepest connection of the Kareen, a bond that links our minds and spirits. Adam nodded, his breath catching as he leaned forward, his lips meeting hers in a kiss that held all the warmth, trust, and unspoken promises between them. The kiss deepened, their connection intensifying as they shared their emotions, their dreams, and their desires in a way that went beyond words. As their connection grew, they embraced, each touch becoming a silent promise of the life they would build together. Their bodies moved in harmony, each caress and kiss igniting a new level of intimacy that bonded them in both spirit and flesh. They shared their warmth, their breath, and their hearts, each moment pulling them closer to a life together. Afterward, they lay side by side, their hands intertwined, sharing a peaceful silence that spoke volumes. The air was filled with a sense of fulfillment, a profound bond that had been forged in trust and love. Lariah turned to him, her eyes still glowing with the lingering warmth of their union. Adam, as of today, you are part of the Kareen, and I am yours in every way. We will face life's challenges together, no matter where our paths lead. Adam squeezed her hand, his heart full. And I am yours, Lariah, forever. They shared a final, lingering kiss, sealing their vows in the quiet of the chamber. The connection they had forged was timeless, and as they lay together, they knew they had found a home in each other, a love that would carry them through the stars, bound for eternity. The days that followed were filled with quiet wonder and newfound purpose. Adam and Lariah moved through the alien repair facility hand in hand, their bond as visible as the stars that stretched across the night skies of the bustling port. Word of their union spread among the Kareen and the other alien races at the port, marking Adam as an honorary member of Lariah's people, a distinction rare and deeply respected. They spent their days working side by side, Adam honing his engineering skills, and Lariah teaching him about the intricacies of Kareen culture. Each lesson was not only a journey into her world, but a deepening of their connection, woven together by shared experiences and mutual admiration. Every glance, every touch, and every word exchanged felt like a continuation of the bond they had formed, a commitment that transcended cultures and galaxies. One evening, as they watched the twin moons of the Kareen homeworld rise over the port, Lariah took Adam's hand, her eyes shining with excitement. "There's something I want to show you," she said, guiding him to a private docking bay hidden from the rest of the bustling facility. Inside, a sleek, beautifully crafted starship awaited them, its hull glinting in the moonlight. It was a vessel built by the Kareen, a ship designed for two, its curved lines reflecting the elegance and strength of her people. "This ship," Lariah explained, "is a gift from my family. They've accepted our bond and want us to explore the galaxy together, as partners, as mates." She looked at him, her gaze full of love. "We're free to roam wherever we wish, to see the stars and find new worlds together." Adam could barely contain his excitement as he walked up to the ship, running his hand over the cool metal. The ship felt like a symbol of the life they had chosen, of the journey they were about to embark on. "I can't believe it," Lyria, this is incredible. They boarded the vessel, settling into the cockpit as the controls hummed to life. Lyria navigated with practiced ease, and soon the ship lifted gracefully, leaving the port behind and entering the vast expanse of space. Stars surrounded them, stretching infinitely in all directions, and they sat together in silence, awestruck by the view that lay before them. As they traveled deeper into the galaxy, Adam and Lyria shared dreams of the places they would visit, the civilizations they would encounter, and the lives they might touch along the way. Together, they would be explorers, diplomats, and ambassadors of their unique bond, showing the universe that love could transcend even the greatest of distances, binding together the hearts of beings from different worlds. Hand in hand, they soared through the stars, their journey just beginning, a journey they would take together, forever united in love and spirit. Their bond was now a living testament to the limitless possibilities that awaited them among the stars, and as they gazed out at the galaxies ahead, they knew that this was only the start of the life they would build together, one adventure at a time.